My name is Megan Lemieux, and I'm a student in the Theories of Teaching and Learning class at Concordia University. I would like to talk briefly about the prevalence of neuromyths in education, which looks at the growing concern of inaccurate neuroscientific information infiltrating school systems and into the classrooms. The nature of the myth that I looked at is in regards to brain-based intervention programs that claim to dramatically improve brain and learning function through a variety of exercises and courses. This myth was reported on and investigated by Leah Tomlin from the Debunking Brain Myths database. The program that this myth focused on was the Brain Gym program. This program claimed to create dramatic improvements in a variety of elements such as concentration, focus, memory, academics, relationships, attitudes, and many more. This program and programs similar are becoming really, really common in school systems all over the world, and they're providing information that a lot of people are just taking at face value. So after this myth was investigated and exposed, in reality, the results and information that these programs, such as the Brain Gym program, offer are often misleading and inaccurate. This is considered one of the many neuromyths that infiltrate the school settings. One very important organization, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, began to look into this trend further, and they aimed to raise awareness of these programs and the discrepancies that are now very commonplace in regards to neuroscience in the classroom setting. This organization was able to define a neuromyth. They labeled these inaccurate facts and defined them as a misconception generated by a misunderstanding, a misreading, or a misquoting of facts scientifically established by brain research to make a case for the use of brain research in education and other contexts. This myth of effective brain training programs and their neuromyths was debunked, was kind of addressed by conducting a large-scale survey in 2002 by the OECD. They randomly selected schools from the UK and the Netherlands and gathered about 242 primary, secondary, and specialty teachers. These teachers looked at different statements about the brain and its influence on learning. So basically, this survey was given to these teachers in an anonymous kind of way, and there was a list of about 30 to 32 statements in relation to this learning and the influence from the brain. Within these statements, about half of them, 15, were inaccurate statements. So they were neuromyths that were placed in to try to see if the educators and the teachers chosen were able to, know the fact from fiction in regards to these statements. As for the results of this survey, they were very informative and very telling of the relationship between the neuroscience knowledge that is being brought into the classroom and its application via these educators. A variety of statistics were produced. 93% of the teachers were interested in scientific research in regards to the brain and its influence on learning. 90% of teachers believed that this information based on scientific research was valuable in their personal teaching practice. 49% of teachers believed the statements that were neuromyths, so 7 out of the 15 myths were believed by more than half the teachers. And as a result, there were no significant differences between primary and secondary school teachers in relation to the brain and its influence on learning. So overall, the majority of educators from various grades were very open and interested in neuroscience research. The only downside is with all of the information out in the world about neuroscience and its effects on learning, educators are not necessarily equipped to distinguish the facts versus fiction in regards to this topic. All in all, there are a lot of really positive and negative concepts that came out of this survey and investigation. It is great to learn about the enthusiasm that most educators hold in regards to neuroscience and applying it to their personal teaching styles. This speaks to their passion and honest commitment to their students in keeping them moving forward and helping them improve. This survey also raised the concern and general caution for the sources of neuroscientific information. It is excellent that the educators have the passion, they just need to be equipped with the necessary tools and content to apply this info correctly and effectively to their own teaching styles. Lastly, the information regarding neuromyths is very related and very applicable to an article written by Casey Hook and Martha Farah titled Neuroscience for Educators, what they are seeking and what they are finding. In this article by Casey and Martha, they look at what neuroscience offers educators. They conducted similar research to the debunked myth article, and they addressed the myths that are out there in terms of neuroscience. Not only did they address the inaccurate information, the neuromyths, but they also chose to focus on in what ways the class and the teaching and the students were impacted by bringing neuroscience and this information into the teaching styles. So overall, out of this research, they came to the conclusion that the presence of neuroscience in education is a